Morning glory and evening grace, America. I'm Hugh Hewitt. On another very sad day in America, another apparently left-wing attack on law enforcement, this time in Dallas, where a shooter murdered 2 migrants in the custody of ICE while trying to shoot ICE agents from an adjacent building, then turned his hunting rifle on himself, not an AR-15 or anything like that, and killed himself. No word on the identity of the dead migrants. Another migrant, believed to be migrants because they're in the custody of ICE, don't know for sure, their names and identities haven't been released, in critical condition. So what I presume, and I could always be wrong, but I presume, given what is on the bullets, anti-ICE messaging, another left-wing radical has killed more people in furtherance of a bizarre left-wing ideology. Now, I've posted on X a lengthy list, which I'll go through with you in a moment, of left-wing violence, and I'm aware of right-wing violence as well. But I want to begin by saying this. When everything seems to be going to hell, and it sure does seem to be a replay of the 60s, I've always told people things aren't bad in the United States because it's not the 60s. Meaning the period of the Weather Underground, the bombings, the Kent State killings in the 70s, the assassinations of Martin Luther King and Robert Kennedy. That was the craziest time. I can barely remember it, but I remember it. I've always told people we're not even close to this. Well, we're back at the 60s. I expect the bombing soon. But I want to begin by saying, especially in the aftermath of Charlie's service on Sunday, that when you think everything is going to hell, that's exactly the time to go to church. And some of you have no idea how to even do that. You have no idea where to go. I'll talk to Mary Catherine Ham about this at the close of the show. I'm sure she'll say, ask your friends. Don't you know anyone who goes to any church? Ask them if you can't go with them. Even if you don't believe anything. Maybe you ought to investigate this because there's actually great comfort in the truth of Christianity. It's also coincidentally, our older Jewish brethren are celebrating the High Holy Days, the days of awe, as they say in Judaism, beginning with Rosh Hashanah on Monday night through Yom Kippur in a few days. These are the days when our Jewish older brothers and sisters to the Christian faith are involved in self-reflection and mourning and resolve. So it's a good time for people of no faith or any faith or out of practice or in practice to go and find out what all that stuff was about if they don't know. They don't know the gospel, go find out. If you're ethnically Jewish and you're more comfortable going to a synagogue, go find out during the High Holy Days. Well, I can't say that, because I know some Jews who don't go on Yom Kippur, but almost all Jews go to the synagogue on Yom Kippur. But if you're not one of those, maybe go this year, because this is crazy. We're living in crazy times. 1.5 million people dead in Ukraine. Russian planes going into NATO airspace. We have Israel fighting to get its people back. Very, very long and exhausting war in Gaza. And domestic terrorism in the United States, which has gone through the ceiling. And it's scary. It's unnerving. And your children probably don't know what's going on. By the way, they'll have babysitting at most decent-sized churches. You can take your smalls with you, turn them over to the nursery, usually grandma's in there, turn them over to Sunday school. I did my years in the Sunday school pen. There are people there who will welcome you. It's not scary. I even put out a note yesterday to pastors, please don't ask for money this week or next week. A lot of people watch the Charlie service and they don't know what that's about and they want to find out. They were inspired by Erica Kirk. They were moved by the testimonies of Vice President Vance, especially the very wonderful summary of the gospel by Secretary of State Rubio, Secretary Hegseth, many other speakers, Charlie's pastor at the beginning, altar call. They don't know what that is, but they might have felt something and they might want it explained for them. So expect people at your church, pastors, prepare for it. Don't do stewardship this week. Put that back. Don't do it next week. But a lot of people are also going to say, what is going on? People on roofs with rifles. In Butler, I'll talk with Selena Zito today. A person on a roof with a rifle, hunting rifle, killed Charlie. Guy on the roof, I think he's 29 years old. Not sure. I have his name. I won't use his name. Killed 3 migrants. They may not have deserved to be in the country, but they didn't deserve to die. And this guy was obviously shooting at an ICE facility trying to kill ICE people, and then he killed himself. So I'm putting him down in the radical left category until someone tells me that he is a schizophrenic category, such as the killer of the judge and the shooter of Gabby Giffords, someone who's got lunacy on the mind. I think we need categories, and we need to figure out what's going on the left, because this is really a left-wing problem right now. This is not a right-wing problem. It's not a conservative problem. Never been a conservative problem, actually. The conservative movement is quick to denounce, and always will, bigotry and violence and anti-abortion extremism that resulted in violence in the day. When Dylan Roof shoots up Mother Emanuel, they denounced Dylan Roof. I was on Face the Nation the next morning and said, this has got nothing to do with the Republican Party or the conservative movement. This is a stone-cold racist. And that's not us. And the left wing can't really do that, especially with attacks on ICE. And I want to explain to you why. But first, let me give you the list. After a left-wing radical assassinated Charlie 2 weeks ago, a left-winger fired shots into the ABC studio in Sacramento after Kimmel was sidelined for a few days. There was also in September an attempted bombing of a Fox News van. Then today's attack. This is the third shooting at ICE facilities this year, one in July, one in August, now one in September. Add these to the 2 attempts on President Trump's life, one of which killed Corey Compatore, the murder of healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in December of 2024, the attempt to kill Justice Kavanaugh in 2022, the attempted massacre of the GOP caucus while at the baseball practice in 2017, the murderous attacks on Catholic students in Minnesota this year on August 25th, the murderous attack on Christian kids at school in Nashville on March 27, 2023, and you see a pattern. Now, there's lots of other violence. There's Islamist violence. I'm putting that in its own category. 9/11, 10/7, that's radical Islam. That's not the radical left. People talk about the Green-Red Alliance. I'm not. I got different buckets. And there's bigoted white supremacist violence. That's not political violence. That's the violence of crazed Nazi ideology, and that's not part of the landscape here. But the left wing is using that language, and the left wing language is permission structure. They are creating a permission structure for their craziest people to go out and shoot people. What do I mean by that? Well, let's listen to Democratic Representative John Larson at a rally less than a month ago, cut number 9.
This is not Germany. That's the SS and the Gestapo. This is the United States of America. Unmask yourselves.
Okay, so John Larson calling ICE the Gestapo. Jasmine Crockett, MSNBC, Ali Velshi, less than a month ago, cut number 10.
But as somebody who understands history, when I see ICE, I see slave patrols. Now, I never lived through the slave patrol period, but if you know the history of policing in this country...
Enslavement. Got that? That's it. Here's a Newsbusters montage of MSNBC hosts, not yours truly, I'm gone now, referring to ICE in various ways. Cut number 11.
ICE is looking more and more like an American Gestapo.
They're huddled around the elevator banks in masks without identifying information. What a terrifying, these are Gestapo tactics.
But it has created this year, as they've seen, the kind of fascist ICE Gestapo militias go round up Latino American citizens in places like LA.
ICE agents, masked ICE Gestapo agents, getting more funding than any other law enforcement agency in the history of the United States.
ICE running Gestapo-like around our country.
The Gestapo had the same function. It was there to draw a distinction between us and them. It was not federally, it was controlled by the leader. And we're seeing disturbing similarities between this force and the Gestapo.
We've got these masked thug cowards kidnapping innocent people and sending them off to be slaves or tortured in other countries.
Dressing like thugs and acting like thugs. People still want to come here despite the crazy. They still want to come here because they know in this land
their voice is protected. Their rights are protected. And there won't be jackbooted thugs coming in wearing masks over their face to take them off the streets. Oh, wait. I'm sorry, Simone, that's happening.
Oh, it's happening.
That's happening right now.
That is what I'm talking about. And you end up with 3 dead migrants, or 2 dead migrants and 1 seriously wounded in Dallas, and a radical left-winger dead on a roof because they've been radicalized by the web or by MSNBC or by other people. And the permission structure is the language of the left. Well, that's the permission structure they've created. I'm Hugh Hewitt. Remember, go to church when everything's